And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for waiting. We are finally ready to jump into our very next game. It's going to be some fun ones, of course. I was trying to fix some stuff on production side. The music is not working anymore. Where's the music? Give us the music right now. Oh, the music is gone, guys. It's gone. It's disappeared. No, what's happening? My Spotify. Oh, my God, what's happening? My Spotify's... Oh, I think someone just took control of my Spotify for a second. That's unfortunate, but it's fine. We'll deal with it. Anyways, regardless, we're not going to be focusing on that one too long. There we go. The music is back for us. We are now going to be checking out our schedule once again for our next matchup. There's going to be, I don't know if it's Gluck or Gluck Gaming. Which one sounds sicker to you, Infinity?
Maybe Gluck. Maybe Gluck sounds sicker, maybe?
What is this, CSGO? Oh, get out of here. Anyways, it's going to be Gluck or Gluck, whatever they're called, against Killer Gaming. And also, something we just realized, we were just told just a few minutes ago, actually. This was 16-bit gear. And they rebranded over to Gluck. And, yeah, that's really interesting. Now their new logo looks like the Y logo. I feel like I'm watching a PewDiePie video currently. So there you go. That's going to be the old 16-bit gear up against Killer Gaming. So now that we know who the teams are, I think that the clear favorite has to be 16-bit gear, now Gluck.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be very interesting because 16-bit gear has participated in the Wild Rift Asia Brawl and has stated their dominance in the group stages qualifiers as well. So expecting a lot of things right now for Gluck Esports in this specific game. But you know what? We don't know what Killer Gaming has coming prepared for this specific matchup. We don't know if they're going to crush the game, if they're going to dominate the game. And I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out.
I'm also excited for this one, but you know what? I think we do have the bans, and indeed the bans have been done, and we're going to make our way into the draft. Also, because we didn't have time to talk about the draft, but that is fine. The bans are going to be coming on through, and the bans are Lulu, Akali, Alistar, Olaf, Malphite, and Lee Sin, which means Orianna is available. Something to keep in mind, but regardless, Gluck is going to be blue side, and red side is going to be Killer Gaming, as the first pickup is going to be Rakan, which should normally entice the fact that you might go with a also Xayah, but Rakan works also really good with a lot of ADC carries.
Absolutely, but something that is actually surprising me right now, or actually got my interest, is the Misfortune pick. It wasn't banned out, and now it's going to be picked out for the side of Team KG. And I think this is going to be very big. If you have that Braum for that support role with that Misfortune, they're just gonna smash in the duo lanes with the Braum just defending the Misfortune. And if you're fighting against Kai'Sa as well, it's just an easy defense when it comes to those pokes coming in for the Kai'Sa and those damage output as well. So I think dual laners is really just dominant for the side of KG.
I do fully agree on this one. I think that also we have some really good pickups from a lot of these teams. Wukong, Monkey, been pretty impactful in that last game for the side of Bigatron, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Orianna, Wukong together is a deadly combo potential. Especially if the Wukong initiate with a Cyclone after a flash. That together works super, super well. But also on the other side, Braum, you mentioned here the Misfortune. The reason why Braum is also picked up here is because Braum actually counters Misfortune, and they saw that because Rakan was picked up, they could afford to go with a Misfortune pickup, and Braum with Misfortune is actually a pretty decent combo, and also to allow her to remain squishy in the backline. Aurelion Sol, good roaming potential. I want to see more roaming than what we saw last game from Bigatron. They had an Aurelion Sol and didn't use it until level 6, level 7. So I want to see that a little bit quicker from them potentially coming out. And the Vi also single target focus is going to be pretty damn impressive all around as long as they execute it properly. There we go. The draft is now going to be all set and done, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to be making it into our second matchup of the day. So here, Infinity, I'm going to ask you, got draft set and done. Which team would you give the advantage to purely based off draft, not the team?
I think it's going to the side of Team KG, right? You have a lot of CC potentials, and you also have Misfortune as the source of damage, which is a lot of AoE potential for the side of KG. So when it comes to team fights, I think it is going to the side of Team KG.
So apparently, just got confirmed in the chat, it's Gluck. So apparently we were good. We were right. Yes. So we are not looking at a CSGO tournament. It is indeed Wild Rift. But I'm going to take the FOW away. Few players already from the side of Gluck going to be together, just scouting into the jungle, getting that vision down into the riverside to make sure that no big invades are going to be happening out. And you know what? Unlike last game, no big 30-second first blood coming on through, so we're going to be on a way more relaxed lane matchup. But regardless, also talking about lane matchups, I want to bring our attention to the top side. You got here Camille versus Darius, and I would love to have your insight on this one, Infinity, as this matchup, because this is a pretty interesting one, I do believe.
I think Camille is just really, really weak when it comes to the early matchup, wherein you have that level 1, you don't really have those skills up and running for your team, for yourself rather, to really just go for the pokes, to really just go for the aggression. And I think Camille's power spike is when she goes level 5, when in the ultimate is up and ready and all of her skills are also up. So I think that is something to keep in mind, as Darius is really strong when it comes to the early match.
Yeah, those can be really annoying if he's able to hit that, but especially because of the slip, like the main mobility coming out from this Camille, it can make it really hard for that Darius to actually hit those abilities. On the top side, going to be seeing her. She's going to be trying to pick it up. That's going to be Take. Getting a nice, decent trade on himself, so they're going to be pretty close in terms of HP. But here you go, early on Soul, going to be making his way down to the bottom side, picking up a little bit of assistance on top of this Scuttle Crab for the time being to make sure they can secure that Drake vision early on, which is something you should be doing, and you see a lot of teams potentially forget about it. But back to the top side, the fight is still unfolding, and that's going to be Camille taking that fight head on. Not able to win it, unfortunately, but Wukong is very close. He might be seeing an early game dive happening here if Infinity.
Yeah. That was too funny because Wukong was trying to make a gank, but he was seen in that fight. But nevertheless, right now, it's going to be the fight top lane.
Yeah, a little back and forth. The Hex Deck Ultimatum is still not available for Take, so that is not going to allow him to fully commit to this fight, unfortunately, and single out a target. So they're going to take it pretty chill for the time being, at least. And Wukong, this is going to allow him to actually jungle invade because they got the information on the Vi. She's in the bottom side and might try and bring a little bit of extra CC to the table if they decide to dive as a 3v2. But diving a Rakan, I think, is safe to say that is a pretty risky task at hand, as you can CC up the entire team if you're not careful, just like an Alistar. So they're going to go back to a very cautious playstyle. They're going to allow that still to happen. Not too much of an issue for the time being. In terms of gold, there's only a 300 gold difference, so nothing substantial happening just yet. Things are just going to... Still a really, really slow early game stage, I do have to say, but so far, not really surprised of what's happening.
And after a couple of minutes, I think the first dragon would be the Mountain Drake. Not something to be super a priority or not much of a high priority for any of these teams right now, but I think it could once again give you more sustainability, defensive capability later into the matchup. And let's see how it's going to turn out.
Oh, Ratel try to flash and get the little twirly down and get the blood, but unfortunately he was not able to do so, so he's going to go back into the jungle to the river to heal up and take that fight potentially again versus the Camille. And Camille, she already used that dash away, so she might not be fully ready for this one. She's going to get the slow down, so Darius is going to struggle quite a bit. The grab comes on through, hits the blood down, but she's able to soak up the damage with the shield. And she's just going to be jumping straight back to her tower. She is not ready for this fight, but the Hextech Ultimatum is available. So if Ratel has the really bad idea of diving, she could instantly punish that. She's going for the trade once again, but takes a lot of damage. The shield will save her, and the dunk comes on through. Brilliant Soul wants to join the fight. The first blood comes out, and it is still worth it for Gluck, but at the end, it will be a trade-off.
What a nice response from that Aurelion Soul. They've known that Darius was really being very aggressive, and with the initiations, Aurelion Soul was saying, you know what? Let's go in for the top lane. Let's help my teammate out. And they did. And Aurelion Soul has gotten the response. It's a 1-for-1. But Darius has gotten the first blood. It gives him 500 gold. And let's see how it's going to turn out, because right now it's going to be the Mountain Drake now available for anyone to take.
I just realized the overlay on top was the wrong team name. So my apology for that when we put it back to Gluck and Killer Gaming. It is good. This is first stream, okay? It's live. We're having some things left and right that will be a little bit icky, but it's okay. The important is that we got the match currently unfolding. But at least that is fixed, so thank you for the feedback in the Trovo chat. And now looking at this game, 1-1, once again, we did mention the first blood coming over, but it doesn't mean much because they got the goal to a standstill. Nothing has really changed. But Drake is now on the map. That is one thing that has changed for sure, but both teams has got a really strong vision towards the Dragon Pit. So if someone tries to go for Sneaky Drake, that's going to make matters a little bit hard for all the teams at hand. We're slowly starting to see here, Infinity, a few teams slowly making their way over there, showing their true potential to maybe go for a Drake fight early on, but teams are still going to be very cautious of their next move.
And Camille being onto the top side of the map, if ever Team GL actually goes for the dragon, I think they would have that advantage mainly because of the member missing for the side of Team KG. But you know what? They're not going in for it. It's not that high of a priority, so maybe they're just waiting for something to happen before they go for this objective.
Possibly, indeed. Now the vision is still coming out. Seem like you can really see the Vi Really wanted to go for that Drake potentially, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to do so just yet. Going to go back to our jungle, but it's going to be Wukong in that position, and Wukong is actually making his way towards the top side, but he's going to be spotted away. The vision's given over. Straight into the Herald pit he goes for the time being, as things are still... Hey, this is... For a game of Wild Rift, this is extremely passive. I don't know what you think, Infinity, but I would have expected already potentially 4 kills, 5 kills, but this is a very respectful game from both sides involved.
I do agree. Like, earlier, we've seen like a lot of ganks. Even in the first 30 seconds of the game, we've seen a first blood come through, right? And right now, it's just taking it slowly. And actually, what's interesting as well is these 2 kills from both of these teams have come in from the Baron lane. And typically, that's not what you see often, because the Baron lane are the ones that are more sustainable, doesn't really have those kills, doesn't really have those potential to make a play. But it's just interesting. And you know what? Let's actually look at the items right now. You have the BRK already for the Kaisa and the Misfortune with the BRK and the Executioner's Calling. It will reduce the potential healing potential for the side of Team Gluck in this game. And with Shin ready for that Camille, it's going to be massive amounts of damage from those consistent skills.
Tong with some good sweepers, going to be clearing out quite a bit of vision, but here you go, Vi going to go for the gank under tower. That's going to be a 1v3 and dive, but can she survive? She's able to dash away. The stun still comes out. A triple knock-up coming out from the Rakan. That is huge, and the Wukong Wizard Cyclone gets all the CC he requires. During that time, good CC to back it up for the side of the Braum, and they also good rotation from this Aurelion Sol. They're able to take the fight back in their favor. That was a dive that I thought that there was no way they could save this Kai'Sa, and yet, because of the Rakan, she stays on her 2 feet.
And Team Gluck didn't get the good end of that trade there, because the Wukong, the jungler, was slain in trade for a Camille, which is the Baron laner for the side of Team KG. And actually very interesting, because Team KG, knowing that Wukong was not available for the side of Team Gluck, didn't really go for the objective. So they really don't want to get these objectives. They really don't want to give the priority onto this dragon, which is actually quite interesting, as this gives you the permanent buff. But now it's gonna be the initiation coming in from Team KG. Let's see how Gluck would respond.
No ultimate available currently for the Wukong, so this could be a little bit tricky to engage upon, and they are not going to give it a shot. Great zoning from the Aurelion Sol. Also, the smite comes out from the Vi, and that's going to be the first Mountain Drake coming in their favor. But this is also a pretty late Drake at that, you do have to say. Normally, Wild Rift Drake, they get picked up in the first minute or 2 after their spawn. Here was a little bit longer, so at the end, that means that the entire Drake game is going to be delayed for the junglers. But Herald is up on the menu, like, okay, we lose Drake. We know for a fact they went back to base after that. This is potentially a very easy Herald pickup. And if we lose a Drake, you mentioned earlier Infinity is not that valuable early game, and you can get a mid tower for trade-off for Herald. That could be a huge, huge advantage coming out the way of Gluck. But Dara's taking a fight he is not ready for. Will be able to dash away, but there's too much damage, and paired up also with a bullet time. The damage of Misfortune is out of this world, and the TP of Camille is also coming on through. The Hextech ultimatum to make matters even worse. This is the entire composition of Gluck, just small, falling to smithereens, and this is indeed how the cookie crumbles. As in the mid lane, it's going to be Orianna getting dived upon. She will be able to survive, or maybe I jinxed that one for her. She's taking a lot of damage. The barrier comes out, and the dive will have to stop, but what a big fight taken back for the side of Killer Gaming.
The key part in that fight was the Misfortune bullet time. I think Team Gluck stayed too long in range of that bullet time that got them a lot of damage input for their team, and that actually gave Team KG a kill, and even as far as getting a turret into the Baron lane as well. So overall, Team Gluck didn't really get a good end of that trade here, and Team KG is now sitting at a more even level playing field with Team Gluck.
Yeah, things are getting a little bit closer. Oh, huge galaxy. That celestial expansion was huge coming out, of course, from the Aurelion Sol. Those can be fun to see from time to time. Baron is going to be up in the next 15 seconds, so teams are going to be very wary of the next fight. Whichever team wins the next fight, and dominantly at that, could be potentially looking to capture a huge global objective to assist their help into pushing. But we have yet to see the Herald really coming on through. And I said that the Herald, sure, they lose the Drake. If they use this Herald properly and actually push into the mid lane, this could be detrimental, because they already picked up the first tower into the top side and the bottom side of the map. So now they just need the mid lane, and then they could get full control and ownership of the enemy jungle, as we'll see exactly how that's going to be happening. But so far, the vision game on both teams, a little bit slow. There's not too much vision in the enemy jungle, which can make it hard to know exactly what you're dealing with. Regardless, both teams are going to be looking on forward to the next fight, which here, Camille, she's great for split pushing here, Infinity. They're going to go just for that, and because she's split pushing, it is time to push in the mid lane. The fight's coming on through. Vi trying to dive on forward, but unfortunately with the Rakan being there, she can't fully focus and take it down, as Herald's going low and will not be able, mid-dash is going to be taken down, and that turret will still stand tall.
The 4-man rotations from Team KG has slain that Rift Herald in just a blink of an eye. It's disappeared. But now the wave is now pushing into the mid lane with no KG members found into the mid lane. It's now Team Gluck pushing down the turret with a fight coming through.
Hectech ultimatum on the Darius, but though he will be able to escape regardless, doesn't matter. But great CC combo on top of the Kai'Sa. But yes, she's still full HP. How is that allowed to happen? And now the entire team is going to be just so damn low. They're trying their best to escape. Good CC from the Aurelion Sol. It will be a one for true trade-off. And the fight's still going in favor. You take our mid turret, we're about to take yours.
Just a good response coming in from Team KG. They have those CC potentials in their favor at the moment. And now, I think it's much more detrimental to the side of Team Gluck because the Dragon is up. Wukong is not available for their team. It's now going to be 16, 15, 12 seconds remaining for the Infernal Drake. And I think Infernal Drake is one of the most important dragons, if not the most important in this game. It gives you 8% extra damage for your team, and you might not feel it early into the matchup, but mid-game, late-game, it's gonna have a huge impact.
Especially when you have a Kai'Sa. That is going to be where the cookie crumbles, and that is where the damage is going to be coming out from. And I'm still, I mentioned that the last play-by-play fight. That's so much damage on the Kai'Sa, and yet able to not take her down. But here we go, big engage. They do pop the GA on the Vi. Look, Camille going to go for the TP to make sure they don't cancel out that entire Vi position. And Camille, she is looking hungry for blood. She wants them nutrients. She wants that sustenance. As they find it, like, wait, of course, Hextech ultimatum right on top of this Orianna, but she's going to be doing a great Zonia to survive, but paired up with the ultimate from the Aurelion Sol. Matters are getting really dire for the other squad, as Killer Gaming are taking down and decimating the entirety of the old 16-bit gear team. Another GA is going to be popped, and there you go. They get everything sorted out, and they get that Drake you said was so important in Infinity, as now they're also looking to make their way towards the Baron Pit.
And that obliteration from the side of KG has set them in a very good spot and even a great momentum to just go for the objective to objective. Now with the Infernal Drake, they're just having that damage output for their team.
TP?
Even a Mountain Drake to give them a shield.
Oh, if they kill everyone, this Baron is useless. This is going to be great coming out, of course, from this Darius, but he's going to get CC'd up and delayed and taken down by the Braum. And they're just getting one by one. And this is such a big opportunity that was lost, unfortunately, by the side of Gluck. And now they go back to their base with a 5-man Baron buff. They're going to be pushing every single lane in existence.
That's another problem for Team Gluck. I think what they tried to do there is just to delay the Baron recalls come through for the side of Team KG, which wasn't really that successful. And in turn, got them 2 losses in terms of their champions. They lost Orianna, they lost Darius in that fight. And I think right now is one of the best opportunities for you not to get killed, because the enemy team already has the Baron buff and you need to defend it. And with 3-man remaining for the side of Team Gluck, they're just going to have a hard time to try and defend all the lanes pressuring by Team KG. And that is also one thing. And another problem is they went in for those 2v5 types of situation once again, wherein your enemy team is a Camille. Your enemy team has a lot of CC potentials to really just counteract those individual plays, individual skirmishes. So overall, just a bad play coming in from Team Gluck.
Also, the reason why this Camille is able to be so good, she's got the Hextech ultimatum, and they got no displacement. They got some knock-up, sure, but no knockbacks. This is why Alistar can do potentially really good into a Camille, because you can deny the entirety of that Hextech ultimatum. So that would have been a good job, but they banned it away. They were fully prepared for this pickup on top of the Camille, so they are playing that one super strong. Bot lane going to get pushed up. This Baron buff once again being really hard to deal with for the side of Gluck, and they're going to be crashing on into the mid lane. They crack open the base. They got full-on access to the enemy Nexus if they decide to do so. One fight is all they need to take this game and wrap it up in good and clean fashion. The tower's still going to be crashed upon by another wave. But here, the defense on Gluck is looking pretty tight. They can't take down the turret too easily. But another big basic attack comes out as the engage is going to be happening. Wukong, big CC potential. Paired up with a Braum ultimate. So much CC. Redemption on top of that to get some extra healing. This is big. And yet, the Kai'Sa goes way too deep without her team. And the Exec ultimatum is present from the Camille to get every single kill in existence. And that is going to be an easy ace. It looked close, but no. That is going to be game going in favor of Killer Gaming.
Gluck just focused on a lot of things. Rakan did a very good set. He went in for the knock-up with the ultimate for the charm, but no one followed through. They tried to get the kill onto maybe the ADC Misfortune, but a Misfortune was safe. The Braum was there to support it, was there to defend that ADC for the side of Team KG. And that is the thing. You need to focus on one thing before you go to another, and that is something that Team Gluck wasn't really able to do in this specific fight, specifically onto the last match that they did for Team KG. And I think that is something to take note, that you need to go for something more specific and not just split up. Try to defend the base while trying to go for gank.
I'm looking at the gold currently advantage 6-0 on this Misfortune, and she had 15,000 gold. Compared to the ADC, that's just about a 4,000 gold advantage, which is detrimental when it comes down to an ADC. That's an entire item difference. And you can see it. They only had 3 items, 3 tier 3 items finished up for the Kai'Sa. And you're looking at this Misfortune. She had 3. She had that GA on top of it to just remain even more consistent. And even ready to go for an extra crit damage item to make matters even worse. So this was looking really dire for Gluck throughout the entire game. And you know what? We thought that because this was the old 16-bit gear team, there would be a win coming out from Gluck, but no, that was not about to happen. Congratulations going, of course, the way of Killer Gaming as they take their very first win of this Spring Open. Going to be looking at a little bit of this graph to see what's happening damage-wise. And of course, as you might expect, most of the damage was indeed coming out from Misogi with that Misfortune really popping off in style. But also, I was super surprised to see Gluck not being able to pull off that draft as we were expecting. We mentioned this in the draft phase, Infinity. We talked about the combo coming out from the Shockwave and also into the Cyclone of this Wukong and also from the Orianna. And even got on top of that Rakan that also got that great knockup potential if they get the good CC combos, but they were not able to do that. And because of them also being so spread away in them fights, they could not assist Vivi on the Kai'Sa to dash out that damage as they should have. And by doing so, they lost Kai'Sa really early on. And the moment Kai'Sa is dead, they know most of the damage is going to be taken away for the side of, I was going to say 16-bit gear, but no. Gluck. But regardless, that is still going to be a great game. Just going to check the gold graph. Also, it was really close until the 10-minute mark. I think I realized why, especially because the Drake coming on through and the turret pushes coming out from the team of Killer Gaming were just a little bit too much. Those plates give them so much extra gold to get back in the lead. And the moment they start to get a lead, it was just easy peasy from there on out. But there you go. That is set and done. That is all she wrote for this game. And that was a great game. I do have to say, Infinity, I enjoyed that.